What up, everybody? It's your brother Kryptonian saying, bringing you a review for One Piece Chapter 575, and this is what I'm talking about on this one, man. So, this chapter opens up with Luffy. I knew Ace being killed was going to have Luffy on some next level just shut down, okay? Because Luffy's a lot like me, man. You know, when he loves you, and he might not express it in the best way, but when he loves really hard. And when love gets taken away from him, he shuts down. I know that because I do that. So, like, when I saw that, yo, like, Luffy, his mind literally shuts down. And even, I think it was Ivankov says that this is really bad because he could die. Because if you think about it, Luffy has the adrenaline shot, okay? Because Ivankov's doing the whole thing with the hormones and all that. But the other thing is, Luffy just went through a traumatic experience. And, you know, you hear about this all the time where a husband loses his wife and then all of a sudden he dies the next day. Because you can't bear to be separated from the person that you care about. And when you look at this, it's something similar. Luffy's thinking back to Ace saying, hey man, we're blood brothers. Once we drink from this cup. And Luffy has all these childhood memories just floating through his head. His brother just died in his arms. He was powerless to stop it. That in itself is already tragic, the fact that his brother died. But the fact that Luffy was holding him, felt his heart stop, felt the last breath leave from his body and couldn't prevent it. While everyone else is literally crying, you see Whitebeard close his eyes, tears coming out, Luffy's head's tilted back, and based on the chapter title, I don't think Luffy was screaming. I think that he's just comatose at this point. And this dude, Akainu, straight savage. Straight savage. He did not forget his declaration that he was going to kill Luffy as well. You know, he gets that lava going. He's preparing to hit Luffy, completely defenseless. And if one of the Whitebeard Pirates didn't step in, I think it was Marco, if they didn't step in, Luffy would have been killed. And they say, like, look, you have to get Straw Hat out of here. That's Ace's last request. We can't dishonor Ace by letting his brother die. And what's really telling about this is, as Akainu is getting ready to go bloodlusted, that's when Whitebeard just shows up and it says, I don't have lube. Whitebeard shows up and just decks Akainu and hits him so hard that I'm not even joking on this one. When I saw how hard Whitebeard got hit, I thought Oda, because Oda's very inspired by Akira Toriyama in terms of art style and just some of the story elements that he uses in his story. I was really expecting one of those gag moments that you saw with Toriyama where Sengoku broke the manga panel. I was expecting that because that's the type of hit that Akainu hit him with. Nah, Oda said, oh, you think that's impressive? Just hold on a second. So Akainu hits Whitebeard and melts off half of his face. And so you would think, oh, Whitebeard's going to drop dead. That doesn't happen. Whitebeard, if anything, looks more annoyed than anything else. And that's when he uses that quick ability. And I'm guessing he's using Haki on top of this. And he strikes Akainu right in the side. And I think it was the Quake fruit because you saw the whole cracks and everything. So I guess that would kind of count as cracking the panels, even though it's like the inside of the panel, and it's, you probably say it's cracking the atmosphere on top of that. But when Akainu just goes flying, right? You have this moment where Akainu's like, curse you, Whitebeard, and then we find out how hard Whitebeard was able to strike. He splits the entire island in half to where the pirates on one side, and then everyone else is on the other, and it's literally Whitebeard versus some of the warlords that we have over there. Boa Hancock being so strung out over trying to find out what's going on with Luffy because she's got her panties in a bunch for Luffy. And what's really, really key about this is Sengoku and Akainu are basically shocked at the fact that Whitebeard took that kind of hit, was already wounded, and wasn't in good health, and had that kind of power. And it's just like, I'm looking at it and I'm going, I've really been lowballing these guys. I've really been lowballing them. But it also makes you wonder, well, if he's got this type of power, why didn't he do this shit to begin with? And you know, somewhere in Whitebeard's mind, he's probably thinking that as well. But given the fact of the circumstances, you could probably say, oh, he was preserving himself because he didn't know when the real fight was going to begin. So it makes sense to pace yourself. You know, like if, you know, Kobe Bryant goes out and plays the Phoenix Suns, he knows he could drop 60 on them, but you don't overextend yourself because it's an 82-game season. You only drop 60 if you need to. And so it's kind of the same thing, man. Kind of the same thing. You know, Kobe's been retired for 2 years, so bad example. So we'll use, well, LeBron don't score like that. So we'll say Steph Curry. It's the same thing. So I thought that was pretty interesting. But as the Whitebeard Pirates are scampering, you get Doflamingo. He's got the excited look on his face. Yeah, I love the sunglasses and everything, man. He's really reminding me of this Attitude Era wrestler Val Venus with the WWE mixed in with a little Scotty 2 Hotty. But the reason why I'm using that comparison is Scotty 2 Hotty was very flamboyant, and then Val Venus kind of had the cheesy porn star look to him, and that's kind of how I see Doflamingo with the pants and the shirtless outfit with the feathers and all that. Like I'm seeing that like a poor man's porn star, a poor man's pimp. So I'm seeing that, and so I'm already liking the guy. But what he does is he points out, he's like, oh, you came to get some action too. All of a sudden, Blackbeard showed up. And when Blackbeard showed up, this is what got me. He says, I get to watch you die, Pops. The Blackbeard Pirates on the executioner's block, and it's so fitting. The symbolism. Blackbeard, the one who handed over Ace, is responsible for Ace's death in more ways than one. From the symbolic stance, given the fact that Ace went after Blackbeard, and once he did, he punched his own ticket. And then on the other side, you have Blackbeard, because he handed Ace over, he's standing at the place where Ace should have died. So, I mean, that's really key. And it goes back to my whole thing. I feel like Blackbeard, because of how he raised up from being where he was in the Whitebeard Pirates, all of a sudden now he's one of the 7 warlords. Look at panel placement. He's towering above everyone else, including the admirals. I'm not saying Blackbeard's stronger than the admirals. I'm not saying he's going to be stronger than the admirals. But since he's been introduced to us and we formally know who he is, he says, oh, yeah, dreams never die. And then all of a sudden, Jaya happens. Oda is positioning Blackbeard to be a bigger player further down the series. You can tell Oda has huge plans for him. I love my theory that, you know, Shanks is probably going to be the person that Luffy goes, you know, up against, you know, for the One Piece. I think that would be pretty cool since Shanks romanced Dawn. But I'm really thinking that Blackbeard is going to have a bigger role. I think he's going to be, like, say, if you use the Captain America movie, or the comic books, I really think that he's going to play the Spider-Man role, to where he's going to be right front and center when it comes down to the big plot point towards the end of the story. And Captain America Civil War, the comics, Spider-Man shows his identity, gets hunted down. A lot of the story elements are tied in with them. Aunt May ends up dying, and the major thing is that Spider-Man goes on both sides. He goes from being a pirate to, I'm thinking of Blackbeard now. He goes from being on Tony Stark's team to joining Captain America. Yeah, Blackbeard. Blackbeard was one of the Whitebeard Pirates. Now he's a 7 warlord. He's in cahoots with the government. You got the revolutionary. I mean, it's something coming here. I don't know what it is. I'm thinking it's going to be something to do with Luffy and Luffy's father. This whole Will of D thing and the fact that Dragon's name has a D in it. I mean, this is going to be interesting. You got Dragon, Luffy, D Monkey, or Monkey D Luffy, and then you got Blackbeard. Blackbeard has a D in his name. I mean, Ace has the D. So I mean, this is something. Roger, the whole Will of D. I mean, Blackbeard's coming with something, but when Whitebeard sees Blackbeard, you know more than anything else, he wanted to take a quick fruit and shove it up Blackbeard's ass. So my chapter question to you guys is, how hyped were you when you saw Blackbeard show up at the end of the chapter, or were you more satisfied with the fact that it looks like we're getting a bloodlusted Whitebeard now? But as always, guys, if you like anything I had to say, don't forget to comment, rate, subscribe, and share. Have an awesome day, guys.